Hi everybody, this is Patty the Tinkerer's wife, and I am outside on a beautiful afternoon. It is Tuesday and it is just before daylight savings time here. Yes, this coming weekend we get to spring forward, so remember to set your clocks. Anyway, I'm here at the park and I am wanting to show you some things between the traffic. I picked a really good time to come, evidently. Anyhow, I just want to share with you some things that I found the other day when I was walking around here. I tried to get a video, but it was just too dark. It was too heavy of clouds. So let's take a look at some things that are going on in the park right now. First off is Bellis perennis. This is the English lawn daisy. And people consider this a weed, but it's actually not really a weed. And I think there's a lot of conjecture. There's a lot of opinions on what's weed and what's not. This is a lichen. You crafters, this is really great stuff. Good time of year to be picking up lichen. And the Bellis perennis comes in different colors. This one's got a little rose tint to it. As they age, they turn a little bit more rose. So anyhow, that was one of the things I saw. I also saw a little tree that I wanted to show you. Oh, before I do that though, I'm forgetting my manners. I want to welcome everybody who's new to my channel. Thank you for coming and checking out the channel. Thank you especially to those of you who have subscribed recently. I really appreciate the support. It really means a lot to me because if you weren't here, I wouldn't be doing this. And I'm doing it, I want to share what I know because I just find so much wonder in the world around me, and also in sharing my faith, which will happen from time to time. I recently had very good reason to be sharing a lot of my faith, and you can go back and scan my channel and find out those things and meet the Tinkerer, who this channel is in part named for. So anyway, getting on to our little walk here. Now, I was driving in from the other direction and coming this way, and right as I was getting ready to hit the corner, I saw this tree, that one right there, and I was like, oh, yay, they're blooming. And you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like flowers to me, right? They're green. Or they're kind of this mustard color. That's not flower color. Well, I beg to differ. And I bet that some of you did not even know that this variety of tree blooms. So that's why I wanted to share it with you, because you will be able to, in the future, share this information with others for one, but be able to enjoy the blooms, because getting up close to what we're looking at, I mean, look at that, all that detail. Oh my goodness. And I don't know about you, if you're somebody who believes in a creator, this certainly speaks to the care a creator takes in creating this earth. To me, that's what it does, and I have just been enamored with these trees. This, by the way, is a maple tree. And if you wanted to get an idea what kind of tree this might be in the wintertime, all you had to do, let me find a branch here. Oh, there's a good one. Is you see these up here? Those branches are opposite. Maple tree branches are always opposite. Tree branches come in, well, two basic types, opposite and alternate. The branches will alternate, or they'll be opposite of one another. And it's one of those keys that we use in the horticulture world to help identify plants when we're out in the field. Now you can go as far as picking apart a plant's flower and doing botany stuff with it. Oops, excuse me, I've got to check, make sure my camera didn't turn off. Oh, it's still on. I just had it turn off on me. I got halfway through a video, and I'm not editing yet, so I had to start over. Anyhow, yeah, so that's one of the things we do. Another way, like with conifers, is the needles, how they're held on the branch, or if they're in clusters with pine, they go in needle sheaths, and how many needles are in those. It's a wonderful study, actually. And you can learn a lot about the trees in your area by taking one tree at a time and going through. Durr's book. Durr is a botanist, horticulturist, tree nerd, just plant nerd guy from back east. And I have his book. You can look it up online. It's D-I-R-R, Michael Durr. And he is definitely an expert and someone that we use to study from. And he's got some great books on it. Some are in color and some are black and white, but good information. And we'll show you cones and all kinds of stuff. And speaking of cones, I got something to show you. Now this will be of interest to crafters out there. Now some of you might look at this and not see much, but I see these little tiny cones here. How cute are those? And then over here, these sweet gum. Oh my gosh, these are horrible to step on. But you know what? You can spray paint those or paint them and then throw some gloss or glitter on them and hang them on a Christmas tree. And they're cute little ornaments. You can make little snowmen out of them, little tiny wreaths or big wreaths. But there's all this material out here that we have access to, and the stuff is free. I mean, even the pieces of wood in here could be used, and basically you could formulate a landscape. There's so much that we can use that's out here, and I'm looking around here and my brain just gets going when I get in situations like this, and I get to look out in the field and see what's here. And I've always been that way, even before I became a plant nerd. I always thought like this, and I didn't know that I was really going to be someone who was predisposed to being able to take this and digest it and disseminate it for people, and the knowledge was just something I would just eat, and I just couldn't get enough until I was in my 30s. Isn't that something? Talk about a late bloomer. That would be me. So anyway, here's something else that's blooming, and many of you have these blooming. This little daffodil here, or as my mom would call it, a jonquil. She was from Iowa. And I think that most people here call them daffodils, but I know in some regions, or I would say maybe older generations, they might call them jonquils. Oh, and here's something else. And I saw this the other day. I want to pick this up and show you. Now this is a fungus. I don't know the name of this fungus. Somebody out there might. If you do, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. I'd appreciate that. I might look it up. But this branch, which was, I'm not sure which tree it came off of, because I can't identify it, but these are pretty cool, and you can actually dry these and then paint on this surface. But I really love the back, how it grows. Isn't that cool? It almost looks like a turkey tail. So let's walk around a little bit more, see what else we can find, because there's always something new to look at out here. Even if it doesn't look like there's much, there's always something. And part of the reason I find things is because I'm not looking up very much. I'm usually looking down at the ground. Well, I mean, I'll look up at trees, you know, I'll look at things like the texture of the bark, which is a really great thing to do in the winter time. You can really see the textures of the bark, the colors of the bark. Some trees have a more white bark, others have a more gray, some have a more green, some will have nearly black. Great textures like the walnuts, you know, and these are all maples here. And they have a really, really cool, I mean, look at this. This looks sculptural. Yeah, so I really enjoy this kind of stuff. I know not everybody does, but it's what my eye is attuned to, and I just love it. So anyway, let me give you a quick scan around the park this afternoon here. Here we go. That's my little van, Red Fred, over there. But this is a 2-acre park. Excuse me. I think it's bigger than 2 acres. Anyway, it's going to expand back there behind that fence. There's another 5 acres back there. And it'll be a pretty exciting thing. Something else that's starting to grow, and I've seen this in my garden, is the chickweed. That's chickweed down there. You can see. I'm trying to get it out of the sunlight. It's very succulent leaves, little tiny white flowers. That's a good salad herb. And I mean, it's tasty. It tastes good. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. Another thing that's blooming this time of year is our nemesis. And actually something that has some benefit, and that are the moles. And here at the park, they battle them every year. And yeah, sometimes the dogs come out here and try to dig up there. Yeah, like we all haven't seen them. The difference between a mole and a gopher hole is a gopher mound will be horseshoe shaped, and a mole hole will be like this. Now, once in a while, the mole hole will have just an opening that'll come out, but it'll still have that distinctive mound. It won't be horseshoe shaped. So you can usually tell if it's a gopher or a mole. Now, a little tip, a little bit of knowledge regarding moles. They get a bad rap. There is some information out there that is not exactly right. A lot of you think that moles eat your bulbs. Well, not exactly. They might eat roots of plants as they're burrowing through, but their main diet is grubs and worms and insects, that kind of stuff. They're more carnivorous. Usually the one that is eating your bulbs happens to be the voles that go in behind the moles and will eat, excuse me, I'm out here, my nose is running, will eat the bulbs, or maybe gophers, and gophers are tenacious. So anyway, you have to know what your enemy is, and then you can go after him. Whew. Now, moles will run under plants, open up the ground so there's air down there, and they can cause a plant to grow more slowly and sometimes even fail. But if you see plants being pulled down under the ground, and those kind of, from the top down, that's usually gophers. Rabbits can be devastating if you end up with rabbits in your garden and actually have runs, which they can do that. I don't hear of it very often, but they can. So anyhow, yeah, here we are at the park. I'm almost back at my car, and it's just about time to put the camera down. This has been fun. I haven't got out for a walk in the park, not since this fall. And it's a lot nicer. I was really bundled up out there before. Yeah, we have these other great trees here that I really like, and I'm going to see if I can get up a little closer and get a picture of those for you. Its Latin botanic name is Platanus acerifolia. Now, acer is what maple's genus is. That's genus species. So if you have an Acer japonica, that's a Japanese maple. But these here, those are what is also called London plane trees. And they have wonderful exfoliating bark. You can see the lighter tone up there. It turns to a mottled color down below. It exfoliates. Actually, with that tree there, somebody had carved a heart with initials. And last fall, I got a picture of the lichen that had grown around the design, and it was really cool. And I went back hoping it would still be there, but it evidently exfoliated during the winter. Another great tree that has exfoliating bark is the paperbark maple. Beautiful copper reddish bark, and it peels back in these fine thin sheets. Really, really pretty. So anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed the little walk in the park. I probably have other things that I could show you, but we'll leave that for another day. I do want to, it's over on the other side, but I want to try and get a hold of the tree that has buds. The tips look like little chocolate chips. And it's really a quick way to identify the tree. And it's actually a tree that's used in parking lots. I don't know why. I think trees in parking lots are a crime in itself because it's just such a terrible place to plant a tree. Anyhow, yep, we got more traffic coming by here, so give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can walk across the street. But yeah, it's definitely bloom season here. Whoop. I'm gonna go around my car. Some of the trees literally look like they have exploded with popcorn. The plums are starting to bloom. Okay, we're here, we're back. I'm gonna bid you a fond adieu. I'll post pictures of the popcornish looking trees that are in bloom on my Instagram. If you have any questions or any comments that you want to email me privately, you can find information on my about page. Welcome to the inside of my car. I need a new car, just a little bit. He has served me well, Fred has. But anyway, this is Patty the Tinker's wife. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. You have a wonderful evening and a wonderful tomorrow, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless. And don't forget, subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the future ones. Bye-bye and God bless.